Would you like to know how to grow your coaching business? Would it be valuable to you if you could take your coaching business to the next level? And if you're passionate about growth and eager to learn the strategies that can help you expand your reach, boost your client base, and maximize your impact, then you will not want to miss this episode where we are joined by our special guest, Daniel Francis. So, we'll be diving deep into key tactics to help you elevate your coaching business. So, stay tuned. I am awesome Angie Engstrom, honoring the awesomeness in you.
And I'm Gitte. And once again, a big welcome, Daniel. We are so thrilled to have you here today. So welcome. Yeah.
Woohoo!
And and I'm just gonna say to the audience, get out your notebook, get out your pen, because this is gonna be good. So you're gonna be taking a lot of notes today, I'm sure. Okay, so let's dive into it. And some of you might not know Daniel, so let me just do a short bio for him. Daniel is a public speaker and a coach, but it wasn't always like this because Daniel, he grew up with a severe stutter, but he was determined to overcome his stutter, and today he has. And today, he's spoken on hundreds of stages to audience of up to 1,000 people, and he's turned his story of overcoming his stutter into a coaching program using community building. So, yeah, I'm excited about this interview. And once again, a big warm welcome, Daniel. We're thrilled to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I won't stutter a lot. I promise. I'm sorry.
Uh,
That was the
Oh,
old me. That was the old me. I'm different
yeah,
now.
I know.
Totally
I
kidding.
know.
that's amazing. I'm excited to hear this story. So,
Yeah.
once again, welcome to Momentum Maker Podcast. And let's start off quickly with like your elevator pitch. Tell us in
Yeah.
10 seconds, like who you are, what your business is in your own words.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess a brief overview of me. I was a director of sales for about a 60 person team. We did we sold internet, TV, home phone. So it was a telecommunication company that I worked with. And then COVID hit, and I made 250 grand in income at 27. I was like, I made it. I had the Mercedes in the driveway, house by the lake. I thought I made it, but the truth was, I wasn't. What's the best way to put it? I wasn't living in my purpose. And so when COVID hit, it was a big decision that I had to make, which is, do I keep doing this and wait for everything to get back to normal, or do I go down this road into the unknown? And so I made the decision. It was April of 2020. I sent an email to my partners at the time, and I said, "Look, this is probably not, this is not what I want to do anymore. And I thank you for everything that you guys have offered me. How do we do this? Da da da." As I was like a owner in the company at the time, and so yeah, I quit my job, and then I called my bank and I said, "How far can I defer my mortgage payments? 6 months, perfect. Mercedes, how far can I push my Mercedes payments? 3 months, beautiful." And I was like, I'm going to go into the unknown. I'm going to build an online coaching business. And I mean, that's kind of always been my life of burn the boats and I'll figure out the rest. And yeah. And then so for the first, pretty much like prior to that, I was writing a book on my life of how I overcame my stutter through public speaking. And, I really didn't do much about it, but, I called it the stuttering salesman. And it was pretty much my life of going to multiple speech therapists, learning how to sing. And I realized when I sing, I don't stutter, to going in, trying to be extremely academic, learning how to public speak, going into sales, doing door-to-door sales. And so it was like a whole life journey of me. And I, at the time I was like, maybe I could turn this into an actual business. And so for the first 3-4 months, I tried to, do everything on my own. And it was probably, I think it was like July of 2020, a couple months left before my mortgage payments kick in and kicked in. I made no money. And then I was like, I'm going to hire a coach, enough's enough. You got to be in enough pain. So then I hired a coach, and then everything kind of clicked together. I built this Facebook group. I grew it to about 400 people. I learned how to do a webinar, pretty much where I took my life story, and I put it into a workshop. And then I launched a beta program. And so that beta program was $300. And I said, hey, if you're interested, I'm launching this new public speaking program for people who stutter. And so 6 people signed up, and I made my first $1,800. And then, yeah, and then I taught it live. People were happy. And then I increased increased my rates to $2,500, $4,000, $5,000, up to $7,500 a client. So, and all the speech therapists were very happy with me when I came into their industry. I'm just kidding. And so, yeah. And so I took this idea of, I pretty much took the blueprint of my life and I put it into a coaching program. And then that's kind of what I've done with even how I've grown my coaching business, where other coaches naturally came to me and said, "Hey, I'm inspired by your story. I have my message. I have my story. I have my idea. Can you show me how you built your actual coaching offer, how you sold it, how you built an audience, how you pitched it, how you delivered on the services?" And so fast forward to today, that's kind of what I do. I think it's the obvious thing that happens when you, like the best type of coaching program to build is usually a program that's for the younger version of you. So the first program was about my younger self who stuttered. Now, the coaching program that I have now is for the younger version of Daniel who wanted to take this idea and turn it into an actual coaching offer and be full time. So how's that?
I
Longer than 10
love
seconds.
that. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have to ask my next question.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us some stats. Like, what's the percentage of people that do stutter? Like, are there a lot of people that struggle with this and that we don't really even know?
Yeah. 1% of people stutter. That's
1%.
what they
Okay.
say, right? And I'd probably say about 1% of people are online looking for stuttering help, right? Um, maybe less, maybe more, because that's worldwide, right? So you got to add in all the countries across the world. But yeah, from a from the stuttering point of view, it's genetic in my family. So I don't know. I like to say all the Italians and all their anxiety as a byproduct. There's a stuttering gene. Um, but yeah, on my mom's side, she her dad stuttered, my grandfather, my nonno, and then her brothers did as well. And so I don't know, it kind of just came. I don't know if I was born with it, but I've learned to, you never really overcome it, you just learn to control it. And so a lot of what my program was I went to 4 or 5 different speech therapists, and they never worked for me because they worked in the therapy room, but I could never apply it when I talked to a girl, when I was talking to a colleague at work, or when I was trying to give a speech in front of people. And so a lot of my journey was like, how do I crack this code? And so like learning how to public speak was one of my biggest things. And that was my hypothesis. If someone who stutters, if I can show them how to public speak, um, then naturally they'll be able to speak with more confidence under pressure. So for me, like my 2 biggest things was sales and public speaking. So public speaking was a great way for me to uh, uh, regurgitate a script or a presentation, because you would repeat a presentation over and over again. So then I mastered that. And then the other part with sales was how do I act quick on my feet, right? When someone's like, I'm not interested, or someone says, no, we're busy, or someone throws a curveball at me. And so that kind of refined me. So there was the memorizing of a speech, which was great. And then the other part was knowing and then I've been able to use these skills into growing an actual online coaching business, which is pretty cool.
And in today's world, it's so important to niche as narrow as you can.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like that served you well from a
Yeah.
business standpoint.
Yeah. I've worked with lots of coaches. That's the biggest challenge with a lot of coaches is what is your niche or
Right.
niche. And then most importantly, the thing that I always ask people is, what problem do you solve in the marketplace? Right. And is it a big enough problem that people are willing to pay for? Right. So, it could take golfing, for example. One person says, I'm going to show you how to hit a golf ball. One person shows you, I'm going to show you how to win a championship. So they're both under the range of golfing, but one is a harder problem to solve, right? Therefore, you can charge more, and that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I took the idea of stuttering, not just I'm a communication coach or I'm just a whatever, right? So yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Gitte, you jump in for a bit.
Yeah. I was just thinking about you mentioned COVID and how it sort of changed your life. Actually, that was when you decided to change your work. And I know a lot of people did that. Can you dive a little into the reasons for doing it?
Yeah, I think that um I think it was I think like coaching specifically, um there needs to be a passion there of
Mm,
more than just making money. And so for me, it was like, I asked myself, I said, if I got paid $300,000 or $400,000 a year working my 14 hours a day, would I still want to do it? And the answer was no, because what mattered more was, it's funny because now I take it for granted, but I remember when I was at my old job and working, I was at the gym by 7. Um, by the time I got to the office, it was 9. By the time I got home, it was 10 o'clock. And you do that Monday through Saturday. And sometimes on a Sunday when everyone wants to meet up, it's like you're just working to work, right? And so I remember when I first quit my job, I was like, it'd be really great to go to the gym or to go have an espresso or to go have a coffee at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or to go walk my dog at 2 o'clock. I'm like, that would be a dream to me, and it's funny because now I just take it for granted. But I think financial freedom was great, but I think the time freedom was actually
mm,
very important to me. And and I think we all have a purpose from a higher power, and I think happiness stems from living in that purpose.
yeah.
And so for me, it was a decision of like, I'm going to just follow through on what I believe is a purpose. And it's funny because I'm still a communication coach. Instead of me helping people with stuttering, I'm just helping coaches and business owners know how to communicate their message and know how to market their message. I'm still, it's the same, it's it's the same purpose, I guess you want to call it, but just in a different way of doing it, if that makes sense. Like I talk to a lot of coaches and business owners, and knowing how to package a message is a whole different conversation. I did a boot camp in July. I did a 2-day, full day live boot camp, and we spent a good chunk of that just talking about offers and how so many people couldn't get clear on an offer. So yeah, so a lot of it is initially it was time freedom, um, and then living in your purpose. And so now I just take it for granted. It's been almost 4 years for me, so this is all I know now. So
It's sort of like as you evolve as a person, your business evolve actually. Uh,
yeah,
that's really nice. Yeah, I love that.
yeah. Thanks.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Should we talk about your process? Would you be able to share a little bit with our
Well, now I'm
listeners?
going to charge, but no, it's fine. It's fine for right now.
Like a high level view. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally kidding. So my belief is you know, so I've enrolled hundreds of high ticket clients. So anywhere from 2,500 to $30,000. And so to me, I would say the secret sauce to that, if you want to call it that, is you give so much value to someone and they're like, damn, this is great free stuff. If this is their free stuff, I cannot wait to hear about their paid stuff. So for a lot of coaches out there that'd be like, oh, I don't want to give it all away because what if I give away all my secrets and then they don't want to work with me? It's like, if you give away a bunch of fluffy, crappy stuff because you don't want to give away the secrets, you're just gonna look you're gonna look like someone who doesn't know what they're talking about anyway. So to me, and especially when if we just talk about um, high ticket clients, um, to me, it's like they're not hiring you for information anyway. They're hiring you for the actual structure and some type of hand holding and accountability, right?
Yep.
So that's my belief, and that's really worked for me. Because like even like I'll give you an example. Even when someone signs up for our program, I get them to watch hours and hours of my content before. What is my process? What is my story? What are the testimonials? Here is how we, do our client success process. So to me, I'm a big fan of giving everything away. And I think as coaches too, I think you should operate the same way if you're selling a high ticket coaching program. That's why like we did a boot camp. I'll talk about the process, but we did a boot camp and I did basically 8 hours a day of streaming. So basically 16 hours, right? And then we made an offer on the second day. We had a bunch of people book a call, and people were just lining up like, how do I pay you? Because what you've done is you've over delivered, where it's like, I'm sold. What do I do now? Versus if I tried to be very fluffy or very short, or I don't want to give too much away, then I would have had a different reaction, right? So that's that. In terms of like a process, I think it's like my process is it's funny because it comes from door-to-door sales. So when I was a director, I ran a sales team. So we did door-to-door sales. We had a call center. We did mall events. So we kind of did everything. And so when people would come in, it would be a commission job. And so the way I would not convince someone to work with us, but it was more of like, hey, rather than me trying to convince you in this interview of how great we are and how amazing this job is, why don't you come to one of our morning meetings and you do your due diligence? So I would have like a 5 or 10 minute interview. My name is Daniel. This is what we do. Welcome to our office. This is who we are, blah, blah, blah. Right. We'll kind of break down the compensation plan, but any questions? Nope. Awesome. We have a meeting in about 10 minutes. Why don't you come out to that? Or we have a meeting at 11 o'clock. And so what would happen is they would come in skeptical. Then they would enter this meeting. We would have a morning meeting. We would do a training. People would share their wins from yesterday. Yeah, I did 3 sales. Or I just had my biggest paycheck, blah, blah, blah. And then by the end of it, the person that came in skeptical for the interview was like, how do I work with you guys? When can I start? You get that?
I
So
love that.
to me, it's more of like, I would rather have a community do the convincing than me. Right? Does
Very
that make
well
sense?
said. Very well
Right?
said.
Yeah.
Versus me trying to come into this,
Mm.
let me swindle you and show you, let me try to work my magic with you, right? Versus, I don't know, just come check it out, tell me what you think, right? And I think it even comes from network marketing. When I did network marketing in my 20s, I'm not sure if you guys ever did network marketing, but that's, you can only bring someone to a coffee shop so many times, but if you bring them to a home event, if you guys did some network marketing, it's like, yeah, come out. We're doing this business opportunity thing at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. You should come out, right? So it's the same idea. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All my
Yeah.
all my
Yeah.
network marketers are laughing, right? So it's like a conference, right? Or it's like an event. It's the energy. So anyway, so I use the same logic for my coaching business, which is, well, how do I get social proof and how do I create like a community? And that's the word, community. How do I build a community where the community does the selling for me? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, see,
And
now we're
well,
talking.
it's much
Go
easier
ahead.
said than done. So I'd love to hear
Yeah,
more. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Now we start charging. So the
Yeah.
idea is, so the idea goes, and this is kind of how I teach a lot of my clients is, you have a niche, build a Facebook group, build a free community, and make it fucking awesome. Sorry for swearing. Make it awesome. And how do we make a great, well, first off, what do we name the community? Well, let's name it something that would attract the type of, audience, right? That you're looking for. So for example, I always like to say, name the community, the end result your audience is looking for. So for example, like my program is called Master Your Coaching Business, right? My other community was called Overcoming Stuttering Community. So I'm attracting a lead into this community, and it's a free lead. And the idea is like, come check us out, come do due diligence, right? Are you guys familiar with School, like the platform School,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's the same idea that Alex Hormozy teaches, right? Build a school community, give a lot of value, blah, 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 blah. It's the same idea, right? So, so the idea is, because even if you run ads, you could run an ad to a landing page, but the lead has to fall somewhere. Because what if someone clicks on an ad, they give in their information, but then they don't book a call, they don't buy anything. Well, they have to land somewhere. So to me, land in my Facebook group. I'm there all the time. Right. So to me, that's the idea. So you name this community, the end result. So, and like I have clients all across the board, from health coaches, DNA coaches, copywriting coaches, Christian business coaches. I don't know. I was talking to Mick today. He's a book coach, right? He helps people write books. So build a community around that. And then when they're in there, the goal is to create amazing content where people are like, damn, this is great. So for example, whether it's a written post, do a live training, right? Do an interview. What I've done is I've taken my members in my community and I'm like, hey, let's do a live coaching call. That's it. Like, so that's the overall concept. And I'm like, I promote the event. You know, we let people come out, come do your due diligence, come watch some videos of me. And so from there, when we do a promotion, right? So whether it's a promotion or a workshop, yeah, the people are warmed up, and then we make an offer. So that's the overall theme of it. And so my goal is, how do we build a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger community with as much engagement as possible? Questions, comments, concerns. That's the overall theme.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And for those of you listening, now that you've heard this broken down a little bit, start noticing out there, this is all around us already. Right now, we're in a bunch of these groups and don't even realize, there is a system behind it all. And my big question is, how do you help people get over, like, where do you say is a sweet spot on the number of people in the group? How do you help people get started building that group? Because no one wants to be in a group of like 5 people, or, especially if it's a cold audience.
Yeah. So, I mean, so I teach, so whenever I have like a brand new coach, I teach them how to do what's called a beta launch. It's what I did with my stuttering program. I did a beta launch, right? So the goal with the beta launch is, let's grow a community to about 200-300 people, ideally 400, but let's just go 200, 300. How do we grow that group? I mean, that's simple. Like to me, there's a few ways to do it. You could send invites to people. Hey, I have this new Facebook group. Come check us out. Hey, if you have friends, come invite your friends. To me, like I look at it as like door to door. Like you're just handing out flyers. You're knocking on doors. Hey, come check us out. Hey, come check us out. Some people are going to say, sure, I would love to join. Others are going to say, no, I'm part of too many groups. Leave me alone. It is what it is. Right. So you do that long enough, and then you hit a place where like for us, we're at like whatever it is, 3,700 members in our Facebook group, or 3,600 members. People just come and join on their own now, right? But initially, you have to put in the effort of just getting people to show up, right? You can incentivize your audience of like, hey, if you invite 10 people, I'll give you a $10 gift card, whatever the case is, right? So you got to get creative. There's an ad process to it as well if you have money, where it's like, hey, run an ad to a lead magnet. They click on the lead magnet and then they come join the Facebook group, right? Or so it's like, hey, here's my free guide on the 5 steps to overcome stuttering and speak with confidence. Awesome. We just sent the guide to your email. Come join our Facebook group in the meantime, right? So it's the same idea. So, but yeah, once they're kind of in, then the goal is to, so if you're on my process of actually launching a coaching offer, you want to grow a group to about 200-300 people. And then from there, pretty much you want to have we have a 7-day sequence where you're basically creating you're basically telling your audience like, hey, I'm launching this new program. And I'm only taking on 6 people. Now, prior to that, I also want to make this clear. So what I do with all of my coaches, I go, look, when people start joining the Facebook group, I want you to over deliver. How do you over deliver? I want you to start offering free coaching sessions to your Facebook group. Hey, welcome to my Facebook group. So happy to have you here. I see in your questions, because you have questions when someone joins your Facebook group, your biggest challenge is, I don't know, getting clear on your offer. Let's say I'm working with someone. My biggest challenge is getting clear on your offer. Awesome. Well, so happy to have you here. Obviously you want to ask them more questions, but the end goal is like, because our group is newer, we're offering free coaching sessions to all of our new members. If you're open to it, come jump on. And I'm not going to charge you for it, but if you enjoyed it, I would love a testimonial. Sure. And my thing is like, if you can't even get someone onto a free call with you, how do you expect to actually get someone to pay you something? So the first lesson is learning how to get someone onto a free call with you, right? And so that's the overall thing. And then from there, I get my clients to do like 10, 15, free coaching sessions. Then they actually understand what the audience is struggling with. You may think you know what your niche is. So people go, I don't know what my niche is. I don't care. Start a Facebook group, get them in and start doing a bunch of free calls with these people. That's it. Right. And then once you have enough people in there, then we do a whole launch. Hey, after talking to people for weeks, we're launching this new program. We're doing a 90% discount and we're offering this to 6 people, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're going to teach. And then usually, you can also tie that in with an actual like live workshop or a live, event where you can talk about your story, why you're launching this program and, the limited time. So it's just knowing how to get creative with it. But the overall theme is, because I didn't know a single person who stuttered. Like, I want to make that very clear. I didn't know a single person with the stuttering issue. And I'm fast forward months later, I'm selling a $5,000 coaching program to people who are stutter
That's
issues,
amazing.
right? So why? Because I built this audience, I built social proof, and then I knew how to actually make an offer. And we can talk about offers and pricing and things of that nature, but the overall theme is most people just don't have an audience, right? Like if a coach comes to me and they have a warm audience, for example, I'll give you an example like Roland. Hopefully I'm not talking too much, Angie.
You're
and Gitte.
good.
So
You're
okay,
good.
okay.
Love
No,
this.
it's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll give you an example. I have a client named Roland. He's a luxury picnic business coach.
Luxury picnic.
Business, yeah. So there's luxury picnic businesses. He coaches them.
Never even heard of that.
I
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
What?
craziness.
That's
It's
amazing.
I guess people have these luxury picnics and you can go there. And anyway, I guess it's a nice romantic time. Anyway, so he's like, that's a niche, right? He actually took over the Facebook group from someone else because the lady was shutting it down. So he ended up just taking it over. Anyway, so he came to me and he's like, man, I'm so inspired. I think you can help me. I just don't know how to monetize. So I looked at his group, and before talking to him, he was doing weekly live sessions with his Facebook group. He would say, hey guys, it's Thursday. We're jumping on live. And if you're a member of our Facebook group, come jump on. We'll be doing some Q&A and some coaching for free. He's posting about different things. Anyway, he came to me and I go, dude, you have a gold mine right here. He's like, I know, I just don't know how to like pitch an offer. And so that's kind of what we did. I was like, this is a very warm audience. Now we just got to do a promotion. And so, he ends up signing, I think his offer, I was like, look, this is what I want you to tell people. Say, hey, here's the outline of your coaching program. It's going to be an 8-week live course you're going to teach. And this is going to be your 8 pillars or your 6 pillars or whatever it was. And I said, tell them, say, normally my program is going to be $4,000, but right now we're doing a 75% discount and we're offering it for $1,000. Anyway, 8 people ended up signing up and he made $8,000, which is crazy. And that was because he had a warm audience. He was giving to the audience, and then he made a great offer to them. And then he delivered the actual coaching over the course of 8 weeks, right? And then there's a whole evergreen process where you put into a pretty membership site, you add group calls every week, and then now he's selling it for high ticket. So that's the overall theme. But for most people, you got to build an audience and you got to warm up the audience. And so even to this day, that's what we do now. We grow our audience, we grow our Facebook group, and then every other month we do a promotion or we do some type of workshop. And then we say, hey, we're doing a 30% discount, or hey, we're offering an extra 6 months of coaching. That's the idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how do you keep the engagement up in a group? Like is there a formula you use, or I suppose it probably depends on the niche as well.
Yeah. Well, there's different types of content. Cause now, like if we take content, like I have a YouTube channel, I have a podcast. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. It's very difficult to maintain all of them all at the same time, unless you have a whole content team, which can be a whole different conversation. Let's just take the idea of a Facebook group. So to me, there's different types of content, right? So if you go into my Facebook group, you'll see what's called a 2-step post, right? 2-step post is like, hey, I created this ebook. I'm I'm giving away 30 copies. Comment down below and I'll send it over. That's called a two-step post. I'm sure you've seen those posts before, right?
Right.
That's an example of one. Another one could be what's called a belief shifting post or a value post. So value post is like, hey, here are the 3 ways to charge more for your coaching program. 1, 2, and 3. And then you can have a picture of you. Another one could be a testimonial post. Hey, let me share the story. And so it's more copywriting, if you want to call it that, knowing how to write a great post. And then the other part is people love to see you. Like there's a reason why we're doing this live podcast right now, or this record, whatever, right? This podcast right now is because people want to see authenticity. People want to see a genuine human being. And so, yeah, you could post selfies all day long. You could post quotes all day long. But if you're not getting on camera and sharing your story, sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom, this is the free sample, right? So think of the psychology of that. Someone maybe, and by the way, I've gotten clients from doing things like this because they're getting a free sample of a coach, and they're like, I want more of this. So just like in your Facebook group, it's the same idea. Hey, let's do like tomorrow I'm doing a live interview with a client, right? And she'll be sharing her story and working with us and her experience. Other weeks we'll do, I'm sure I'll have Gitte and awesome Angie on, and we'll do a whole live podcast together, right? That's how we'll collab. Other ones be like, hey guys, I'm doing a live masterclass or a live workshop for an hour on the 5 ways to close more high ticket sales, or 3 ways to improve your engagement in your Facebook group, right? So it's knowing how to do things like that. And the stuttering was the same way. Hey guys, I'm doing a live workshop or a live whatever class on the 5 ways to speak better under pressure. So it's just knowing how to do that. And so, yeah. And so you're almost like with content, it's like you're warming up this battery, and then you're almost like then going for the ask. It's like what Gary Vee talks about. You jab, 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 and then you go for the right hook. So people don't jab enough, which is the content and the value. And then people don't know how to actually go for the ask, the right hook. When you know the combination of it, it's pretty repetitive and pretty boring. You just got to do it a lot more often. But from a coaching level, this is to all my coaches out there, you're a teacher. So teach. Like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm having a hard time getting clients, or I'm having a hard time. It's like, okay, I'm looking at your stuff. I don't see you teaching. I don't see any videos of you. I don't see you sharing your knowledge and your expertise. So how do you expect someone to have confidence in you to now hire you? So it's knowing how to do that properly and knowing how to do that more consistently, right? Like we've had people, join my coaching program after a year of being in my Facebook group. So it's also knowing how to be consistent. But yes, I could talk about this for hours, Angie.
Glad I asked.
Yeah.
What, you got anything, Gitte?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm just to put it very shortly. So it's all about building your community, and after you build your community, just keep nurturing and giving value to the community.
Of course. That's it. Because that's like what, like, so I'll give you an example. So we had I took down my boot camp, but we did a boot camp at the end of July. So pretty much 30 days ago. And I all organically, I told my audience, or I told my community, I said, hey guys, we're doing this live 2-day boot camp. It's free. And we had about 150 people register for the boot camp, which is awesome. Then on the second page, we had an upsell to get a VIP ticket for $97. And in that VIP, we gave, they get like a private Zoom room. So we streamed it on Facebook, but then they get a private Zoom room, right? If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They get an extra hour with me at the end. And then I even threw in like a public speaking course. So we had 15 people sign up for VIP. So whatever, we made $1,500 before we even went into the event, which is pretty cool. And then we had people stayed for the full 2 days. So we had a VIP room, and then we had the live whatever on Facebook, and then we had multiple people sign up at the end. And how did that happen? Well, it's because our community has been nurtured. We've built this brand. So then people start recommending their friends to come and check us out. And so to me, it's like when I see a coach, yeah, they could be a smooth talker. They could be great. But to me, I'm always going to judge them by their audience, because their audience is their saving grace. Their community is their saving grace. I'll give you an example. Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is broke. He needs money. He needs new clients. He does one thing. He sends one email to his 42 million person email list. And he gets a
Yeah.
bunch of sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. Right. And so to me, are you building your list? Right? Do you have a list? And for some people, it's their Facebook profile. For some people, it's their YouTube channel. For some people, it's their Instagram. I always recommend build a Facebook group. And I get it. Maybe Facebook's outdated or whatever. Or I don't know. Facebook, I don't know. My engagement sucks. Whatever the case is, they all suck. They're all great and they all suck. They're all great and they all suck. I love when people go, oh, school's better, or, this is better, or this, like, they're all great. And then they also all suck. There is no magic pill. There is no magic platform. Right. And so to me, it's knowing how to really build a great, thriving audience that is growing daily. And then you're providing a lot of value. Right. And so, and then I my audience will go from my Facebook group to my YouTube channel. Right. So I'll do a 2-step post in my Facebook group saying, hey, I created this video on the 5 ways to close more high ticket sales. Who wants it? And then they all get sent to my YouTube channel. So they all kind of work in unison. But when you're starting off, one of my favorite lines is, the person who tries to catch 2 rabbits ends up catching none. So choose one rabbit. And for a lot of people, it's like, what's the one rabbit that we're going after? And so that's the idea. But ads work in unison too, right? So it's like you have your Facebook group. When you start running ads, the ads target your community anyway, because they're engaged in your content. So the pixel picks them up, right? And so it all kind of works together. But to me, the foundation of my business is my community. And that's the idea. If we need a new sale, if we need a new client, whatever the case is, right? We have the audience. Whereas if I had to start from scratch, it'd be very difficult. And especially with ads and how much they cost and how competitive it is and blah, blah, blah. It's like the audience is what makes you different from everybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. The audience that's powerful. That's absolutely powerful. So you mentioned in the beginning, okay, so for someone that is just starting, you mentioned social proof, but yet if they're starting, what's the social proof?
Oh, that's easy. Go to a free freaking coaching session with someone and get them to do a post about you.
Gotcha.
You're crazy.
Gotcha.
I love that. It's like, well, I don't have a lot of testimonials. I know that's your problem. So go get a bunch of free testimonials. When I started off, I would literally go into other stuttering groups. And for some reason, North American people or whatever, right? People from Canada and the US, because I'm, would not get back to me. But the only people that got back to me were people from Pakistan, people from Egypt. And they'd be like, sure, I would love to get onto a free coaching call with you. And I'm like, great. You will never buy from me, but awesome. Those two were my testimonials off the bat. They were past colleagues and my Egyptian, Indian, Pakistani free coaching clients. Okay.
That's awesome.
They're still social proof. Right. Yeah. And then what happens is the American sees my interview with someone from Egypt. They're like, oh, it looks kind of legit. Oh, sure. Let's jump on. Like that's how it works. Right. Like you gotta take what you can get off the bat. Right. And then the testimonials get better. Right. Like even like for my business coaching program, initially it was like, I don't know, freaking, hey, Daniel helped me get very clear on my offer. That's a testimonial. Then the next thing is, hey, Daniel helped me land my first coaching client. Then the next testimonial is Daniel helped me get to $30,000 a month. So the testimonials start to get bigger as time goes on. I think a lot of people want the biggest and baddest testimonial off the bat, where it's like literally like just start something. Daniel is an amazing business coach and mentor. Thank you so much. The person had one call with me. Does
Right.
that make sense? Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's
I had
awesome.
this one guy, Danish. He never paid for my coaching program, never. And I believe he was from Pakistan. And I don't know what happened. I don't know. He went to school in Europe. Anyway, a young guy, but I think he was like 24, 25. And he sent me this map because I had like 2 or 3 coaching calls with him. I knew he's like, Danny, he would always call me Danny. He's like, Danny, I'm sorry, I just can't pay you. I go, don't worry about it. I'm like, has my stuff been helpful for you? Oh my God, it's changed my life. I was like, Danish, can you just send me like a testimonial? Just like, and obviously his grammar's off and all this good stuff. And he literally said, Daniel, you are the biggest inspiration in my life. You have helped me come off antidepressants because of your, and I did 3 coaching calls with him. That's
Oh,
it. And like every once in a while, I'll give him some inspiration. Yeah, it's like, that's what I had to do initially. Right. And then he helped me get actual paying clients with that testimonial.
Mm.
So cool, right?
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and yeah, I really love this because you know, a lot of people, they keep saying, oh, it's gotta be perfect, just like you said. I gotta have this big testimonial. No, you can just start simple, just get going.
Yeah,
I love it.
100%. 100%.
That's a
100%.
wonderful. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so valuable.
Yes. Um, what else do we want, Gitte? How about give us one of your favorite stories, success stories, a client success story.
So funny. Yeah, we just did an interview with Steve last Thursday. So he joined my coaching program last year. And then he did his beta launch. He enrolled he's a nonprofits coach. And he worked for a nonprofit, and he's like, I think I can consult other nonprofits. And I was like, let's do it, man. And it was funny because he clicked on one of my ads, and then one of my call setters called him, which is that isn't that common in this industry, where you just someone signs up through someone calls you. And anyway, yeah, he's that Steve was a great example. And we just did anyway, he did his beta launch. He signed up his first, whatever it was, 4 or 5 clients. Very, very happy and very grateful. He followed our process to a T. And then he kind of like, just got really busy with work. And then we just did a recent interview, and then we find out that um, he he has an actual consulting business now with his brothers, and they're doing 50,000 a month. And he told us initially he wanted to get this Jeep, and he had it on his dream board because we showed him, we talked about the law of attraction and writing down your goals and your RAS, like what you think about is what you'll attract, right? And then he's like, you guys have changed my life, right? And so those are always great. I'm trying to think what else. I think to me it's like I think the money is important, right? Like I've had masculinity coaches, like men's masculinity coaches, right? Where they have their first $30,000 a month, and they help men on their personal transformation. I'm trying to think. I had Nicole, who's an amazing soul. She's an Amazon coach. She literally followed our process to a T. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I have so many different examples of coaches. But to me, I think it's more of I love seeing when it clicks
Hmm.
for people. It's like you're signing up your first client. It's like, holy smoke, someone just paid me from a Zoom call. This is wild. So I think to me that is the biggest thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's pretty important. Like the first sale, like the first anything, when someone's starting a business, especially if they've never had a business before. I mean, that's
Yeah,
every little win. And like you said, after we've been in business for a while, it's like, oh, this is just my life now. And you forget sometimes, those early beginnings, like the first contract, the first dollar, all the little firsts.
yeah. Coaching is very important. I think, how long have you ladies been in coaching for?
Oh,
Would you say
goodness.
like, yeah,
2017 for me is when
nice.
I first
Yeah.
started researching the whole
Yeah.
coaching industry. I
Yeah.
don't think yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
that is about 2017.
Yeah. It's funny because, coaching, the longer you're in it, you're like, it just becomes so repetitive. It's like, oh, here we go. Yeah. Just do this. Okay. I get it. You're busy. Let's find a way to give me take hack. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
but
Mhm.
and that's with anything in life, right? Like it's like when you're a parent for the first time, you're like, what? And then over time you're like, my kids drive me nuts, so
Yep.
but I think right? Right, like everything is always exciting off the bat, and
Yep.
then but one thing that I'm constantly reminded of is how powerful coaching is. Like coaching is like how do I say, like, just mentorship as a whole. Like people need this,
Yeah.
like and there's a lot of quote unquote online ways to make money, right? Like whatever, right? Building is an Amazon store, or building a automated YouTube channel, or selling e-com, or selling, I don't know, I'm trying to think of just products, right? Coaching is a thing where it's like you're not just selling a toothbrush. You know what I mean? Like you're
Right.
selling,
Mhm.
and sometimes we take it for granted. Like I have to remind myself sometimes of like, holy shit, I've actually impacted a lot of lives. And even though I get like annoyed of like, holy shit, again, right? And I'm sure we all get this, right? We all get frustrated and annoyed. It's what I've realized with like the impact and ripple it makes on the rest of the world is so impactful. And sometimes you don't see it, but it's so necessary. And if you are like, I'm just talking to coaches from an emotional level, but like if you're a coach and you're called to be a coach, it ain't going to be an easy road. Nothing's easy. But it's definitely a very impactful life. And that comes with a lot of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
That comes with dealing with a lot of
Mhm.
emotions. And so, yeah. And so if you're called to be a coach, um, it's a bumpy road. I think a lot of coaches, they're great coaches. They sometimes they not sometimes, but they usually suck at business and marketing, which is a whole different conversation.
Right.
Which is why I do
True.
what I do. But
Yep.
it's
Yep.
which is
Job
why we do what we
security.
do, right? Yeah.
Yep.
But it's something that is very impactful for the entire world. I think that
Mhm.
is what I have to constantly, I'm sure we all got to remind ourselves of that, of like, you know, life can be tough and there could be whatever craziness, business in general, but it's a very needed skill set in this world, especially with a lot of people going through whatever they're going through.
Mm,
That's a great
true.
reminder. Yeah, thank you for that. That's a great reminder. It's
Yeah.
very important. It is. It's very important to remember that. And especially as coaches, um, and like with anybody, like when you're good at something, you're on
Yeah.
your mountain doing your thing, and you don't necessarily like this is where my tagline comes from, honoring the
Yeah.
awesomeness in you. Cause like, maybe I can't see my awesomeness. I don't feel awesome or whatever,
I
but
don't
I can
feel
see it in
awesome.
you, but I can see it in you.
Yeah.
And that's just human
Awesome
nature.
Angie ain't feeling awesome today.
I
Oh,
love that, Angie, because that's the power of coaching, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
We got to remind ourselves of that every once in a while.
We have to. Yes.
Mhm.
Great
This is gonna
message.
be a therapy session after this.
Yeah.
We got to keep going. We got to keep showing up. You got this. I know. I get it. Tell me the story. Just kidding. I'm totally
I
kidding.
love how you are able to pull humor in so well. That's a
Mm,
skill. That's a
it
gift.
Thanks.
is.
And I
Yeah,
just really
appreciate that.
quick, would you speak to that in terms of your stutter? Do you think that played at all into your working with your stutter?
Yeah, of course. I think so uh, there's a few elements. One, um from a stuttering point. it's funny because I've done a lot of personal development on myself. So to me, it's like life is difficult, but when you can add humor, you can, that's where magic happens. So like, it's hard to speak with confidence and think properly when you're like, it's hard to sign up clients, market yourself, and show up when you're like,
Very true. Oh yeah.
and so
It's
to,
even possible. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, and so to me, it's like, I've had to build this character of being very light, because if I'm not, I stutter more. If I'm not, business, it's this grinding of the gears with business in general. And so to me, and like, and then the other piece was, when I did door-to-door sales, just to put things into perspective, I've probably knocked on like 300,000 doors, just to give some
Wow.
perspective. Yeah, like I did it for I think 5 years, so from 22 to 27. Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, and so just to put things into perspective, so I've knocked on 300,000 doors. I think I've made about 3,000 sales door to door. I've been inside probably 70,000 homes, like all different types of character, cultures, that you can, ages, everything you can think of. I've seen it all. And and so to me, I've when I was going down that journey, I would try different things where I would come in um more serious, or I would test. I would say, hey, I wonder how they would treat me if I had more of a serious face on me, or more of a sad face, or more of an angry face, or I talked in a quieter tone. Whereas if I talk loud and a big smile on my face, right, I would, like, how to like break the ice with someone. And it's funny because I'm like, I started to get a different reaction. See, initially I thought it was they're not taking me seriously because I have a stuttering issue. But that was bullshit.
Mm,
It was because the way I was communicating sucked. And that's a whole different conversation.
Mm.
Right. I
gotcha.
thought, oh, they're judging me because of my stutter, right? They're judging me, and it's insecurity. They're judging me because of my big nose. They're judging me because of my hair. They're judging me because of the way I look, right? They're judging me because of, and we can go down the list. But when I took responsibility of like, I'm just not a good communicator. I need to have a big smile on my face, put my shoulders back, chest out. Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. My name is Daniel. Do you guys know what's happening in the area? You don't? Awesome. Okay, this will only take me 45 minutes. And I would make that joke, and I would say it over and over and over again, right? I'm like, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, right? I would know how to have the proper body language. So when someone would open the door, I don't want to face them. I'd want to be on the side, so I'm not as
Mhm.
from a confrontational level, right?
Mm.
And so that to me taught me a lot about communication as a whole, right? Knowing how to speak, knowing when to listen, knowing when to crack a joke, knowing when to ask a question. And then from a sales level, how do you get someone to make a decision? It's a whole different conversation, right? So then you get to the end of it, and then it's like, how do I not shoot myself in the foot? And then they're like, I don't know, I got to think about it. How do I get them to be like, yeah, this makes sense. How do we do this? Well, what's the next thing that we do? Right. So I think it's all of that. And then from there, that allows you to, I think, just be more successful in life. And so that's kind of the thing, is like, communication is the golden thread that connects us all. And so to me, my thing is, if you're a crappy communicator, life is crappy. If you know how to be a great communicator, life is so much better. And so, yeah, that's the
I
idea.
I love that. Communication is the golden thread. I love that. It's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
true.
is.
I
It's
mean,
it's really the key. Hmm.
and you think back, caveman era, like as long as humans have been on this planet,
Yeah.
communication. I mean, we share truth through story and community, like the whole everything you talked about today.
It's all
Yeah,
connecting now.
it's very beautifully
Yeah,
woven together, nice
Yeah.
common
It's
golden thread. I love
golden
it.
thread.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
all
think,
makes sense.
I think communication is the one thing that, if you're not a good communicator, life is so much harder. Life
Yeah.
is so much harder.
Yeah.
I know.
Would
So
would yeah, we need to wrap this up. We've been talking for quite some time.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's been so
So many
good.
more questions. So we'll leave it here so that
Part
our
two.
listeners can how do they get a hold of you and get in your group and Get around
Yeah.
more of this magical golden thread.
Whoa. Yeah. I mean, you can just come join my Facebook group. It's Master Your Coaching Business. So I would just type in Master Your Coaching Business on Facebook and come join the group. So yeah, I've lots of stuff that you could watch. I have my 8-step process on how to build a profitable coaching business, how to go from $0 to $10,000 a month as a coach. I have my webinar on how I overcame my stutter through public speaking. So I have it all. How I built a multi-6-figure coaching business through community building. But I would just come join my Facebook group, and then I can send you over some resources.
Perfect.
Excellent.
And yeah, and we'll be putting the link to your Facebook group, Master Your Coaching. We'll be putting it in the show notes, so you can just click on it and make it easy.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you so much for joining us, Daniel. It's been so fascinating and fun. So thanks again. And let's wrap it up, Angie. I'm Gitte.
And I'm Awesome Angie, honoring the awesomeness in all of you. And thanks for listening to Momentum Maker Podcast. So keep your momentum, keep moving forward. And if you happen to be a course creator or a coach or a consultant, and you're spending too much time selling one-on-one, and you are ready to condense that time and sell one-to-many, that's what Gitte and I do. So open up a tab on your browser and go to elitevirtualstages.com/blueprint and learn how you can turn your expertise into a 6 and even 7-figure day. Oh yeah, I said that, 7 figures, doing live transformational virtual masterclasses. So Daniel, thank you one more time for being here, and wonderful golden nuggets today. So thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Thank you for having me on.